Hey guys, so today is day 3, alright, and today we're still gonna looking at this chess book. I think we're gonna look um, learn from this chess book for the whole February. Yeah, okay, so basically this is what I learned today, the position, you see it right now. Okay, so is the analysis of adjourned positions. Alright, and this game is between Dolmatov versus Machuski. Alright, let's see. So in this position, okay, it's black turn. Okay, so black has a wild choice, right? So okay, so he can play b6, he can play b5. Well, he could also play f6. Sorry, f6. Right? There's also sense of waiting move, which is rook c6. Alright, so okay, there's many moves. Yes, and in the game, rook c6 was played. Alright, which is not the correct move, not the most accurate move, right? Alright, actually after f6, right, f6 is the move, can achieve the draw easily. Right, for example, after g takes f6, king takes f6, rook h1, rook c6, good move. Right, the idea of rook h1 is, let's say after b6, we go rook h6, king g7, then just king e5. Right, as you can see, black have more weakness, so we just takes, and then this is a winning. If trades rooks, after trades rooks, this is just a winning king and pawn game. So rook c6 is the correct move. And okay, we play rook h8, not rook h6, because now he can go king g7. Now there's no king e5. So okay, rook h8 is the correct move. We're trying to win the pawn from behind, like this, something, I guess. So b6, rook f8 check, king here, rook b8 takes, king e5, a4 check. Okay, and then this is just a draw because black have this idea of a3, a4 to a3, and after you take, black just take the c3 pawn, I think, or maybe not even take the c3 pawn, just wait, just do some waiting move, and it's a draw. Alright, so yeah, so okay, so he said in this position, he said, if you are defending an inferior ending, try to exchange a few more pawns. Alright, okay, so back to this position. Okay, so this position, not this position. Okay, so this position, basically you can see white is a little bit better because he have two advantage, a very obvious advantage. First of all, active king, right? More active king, right? And second, alright, which is black have a weakness actually, right? On f7, right? And actually the whole game white is targeting that pawn. Alright, and for black, b2 pawn is hard to attack, right? Because you know it's really hard to attack that. You currently you can't attack that pawn. The only way is like you need to trade this pawn and then okay, go attack it, right? But it's not easy. So black weakness, white can attack black weakness more easily. Alright, so okay, so rook c6 was played in the game. Alright, and they say this is a mistake. Alright, so nothing would be changed after b6, king e5, rook c6, and now rook f1. Okay, now you see f7 pawn is a weakness, and also you can't get rid of it easily because there's a pawn on g5. Alright, so I mean basically the f pawn is fixed. Okay, so rook f1, and okay, so you see this position on rook c6 is kind of like transposition. Alright, if b5, rook h1, trying to go rook h6, rook d8, rook h6, king g7, king e5, and rook b8. Rook b8 is the move here. Right, b4, which go takes rook b8. Now there's this idea, right? Because as you can see now, there's a pawn chain here, so we want to try to break this pawn chain. So g6 is right. It's the nice way, but currently our rook is hanging. So okay, just rook f6, g6, and white gets some chances. Maybe white is even winning. I don't know. But okay, there's great winning chances. So okay, rook b8 is the correct move. Now the idea is b4, and after rook f6. Alright, so you don't play b4 first. You play rook b8 first. Now rook f6. Now you go rook h8. Right. So yeah, rook h8 is a good move to get the open file. And now he maybe trying to attack white's weakness. King d6, rook h2, king e7, good move. Rook takes b2, rook f7, king here, and rook f8. Again, white still have great winning chances because now this pawn is hanging. If you defend now, okay, rook a8. Alright, just rook a8, and then rook takes a6. I mean, this is just better for white, right? Alright, so in the game, rook c6. Okay, now king e5. So what's the idea, right? You can see you see that just now, right? The idea is rook f1, rook f6, and g6. That's the idea, right? To try to break this pawn chain, make them weak, and then win them. Right? Win this little pawn, and then yeah, and try to win the game. You know, create some passer, win the pawn, and create a passer. All right, and now if you take on g5, all right, there's rook g1 check, and then your king is forced to go to, you know, the border, and then we can just go rook g7 or king f6 followed by rook g7. So king f6, rook c7, and then we go rook g7. Just take the pawn, and then after f7 die, e6 will die, d5 will die, and we just create a passer and we can win the game. So you can't take on g5, right? And this is just our threat: rook f1, rook f6, g6. So okay, so in the game, b5 was played. Alright, let's say b6. Okay, so because white have this threat, black has to seek counterplay by advancing the b pawn. Right, and like I say, maybe trying to attack the b pawn. So b6 comes to consideration, but then there's this rook f1. B takes a5, rook f6, king g5. Like I say, if king here, okay, g6. King takes g5, okay, Wait a second. Okay, so king takes g5. Rook takes f7. We win the f pawn. Rook b6. Now he attack our b pawn, and now we go check and king h4. Alright, king h4 is important to stop rook g3. You know, to control rook the g3 square. Why? Because let's say king h5, then rook g1. The idea is trying to attack the pawn. Alright, rook a1 and attack the pawn. And if it takes, we take the e pawn, rook c2, and now we play rook g3. And now you can see, okay, the king didn't control the g3 square, so we just play rook g3, and then we defend our pawn. Alright, so king h4 now. Okay, rook d3, a4 takes, a3, c4, and now okay, we just defend the pawn, right? We just defend the passer here, and then yeah, it's defender. Alright, so after king h4 in this position, okay, now we play rook g1. Alright, rook g2 is not good because of a4. Right, and now like you can't make progress because you can't take the pawn, you can't push any pawn, so you can just wait. So I mean, black can save the draw, maybe, I think. So if rook e7, black can just take, and then yeah, he has this passer, he can win the pawn. So rook g1 is the correct move. The idea is after rook takes b2, we take rook c2, and now we play rook a1. Rook takes c3 and rook takes a5. And we have some chances because the king, you know, is remoteless, you know. Okay, so if let's say rook b5 in this position, just trying to defend an a pawn. Now we have c4, good move, takes, and now we have create a passer, push, check. King d7 is a great move because king d5 is actually a mistake. Why? Because after rook d3 check, king c6, c3, d7, he has c2. If let's say you first defend the pawn with rook c1, black king just get to help this pass pawn in time with king g4, d7, king f4, king c7, king e3. Yeah, after you promote, just takes, king d2, and you just push the passer. You know, black's even winning because you have passer on the a file. So the best move is just king to d7, and after c3, now we go rook c1, a4. Right, if king g4, right? Okay, now just king c3, king f4, d7. Yeah, and basically the king didn't get to d2 in time because let's say rook d3, d8. Rook takes, king e3 will just take on c3 with check. Yeah, the problem is now the c3 pawn, you can't defend the c3 pawn with the king. Okay, let's say a4. Alright, king c7, a3, d7, rook d3, d8 takes, a2. Now you can't push the pawn, so we just bring our king, and you can't even bring your king to the third rank, so we win. Yeah, in this position basically we win. You can't play here. If king e3, just rook takes e3 check. So now that threat is just king c4, king takes e3. Yeah, and then just winning. So going back to this position, right? So b6 doesn't work. All right, maybe I can say b6 give white more chances. b5 is good move. Rook f1. Okay, we follow the plan. Rook c7. Now with rook c7, right? Defend his weakness. Black has now countered the threat of rook f6, right? Because now he can take on g5 after rook c7. Check, he can take on g5. b4 was not great here because after takes rook c4, now we have this b5. Great move. If you takes rook a1, now it's rook behind the pawn, and then we can just push this pass pawn, and the rook have to defend, and we just bring our king. Okay, let's say you play rook a4 in this position. Now there's this great move b6. Takes, king d6, and now again we have this passer. If you defend our pass pawn, okay, just bring our king and then push the pass pawn, and we just win the rook. So you can't play any counterplay. You have to defend first with rook c7. Okay, just king d6. Alright, so yeah, because the rook f6 allow king takes g5, and we can't win the f7 pawn. That's the idea of rook c7. So okay, king d6. Rook c8 was played in the game. Alright, after rook c4, rook f6, king g7, king e5, b4, g6 takes, and rook takes, rook e6. Right, this is a position arise that white has still to get to the game, to get into the game. Right, so going back, in this position rook c8 was played, and now rook f6, king g7, and now a brilliant move, rook f3. Okay, why rook f3 is a brilliant move? Sorry about that. I'm sorry. So, okay, why rook f3 is a brilliant move? Okay, so the idea is, if we play king e5 here, now rook h8. So now, okay, again black wanted to attack our pawn. G6 a blunder because of rook h5 check. Now we lose the rook. So with rook f3, now our threat is king d7 to attack this rook. If you go, let's say rook c4, now we have b3. So now you see the idea of rook f3 to defend the c3 pawn, and now play b3, and now even make black harder to push b4. Alright, because our pawn is just defended. Alright, our b pawn is also defended after b4, cb4. So alright, so in this position black have to play b4, which is a good move. C takes b4 and rook b8, and now rook b3, good move. Why? The threat is to play b5. If you take with the rook, we just trade the rook, we have the passer on a file. If you take with the pawn, again we have the passer on a file. So you have to stop this idea, and now king e5, and surprisingly this position is a zugzwang. Okay, why? So of course you can't move the rook because of b5, so you have to move the king. Right, king move anyway, we just play king f6, so king g6 is forced, and now we play the idea we want to play from the start of the game, which is rook f3. Right, the idea is simply rook f6 and g6. Okay, now we try to make the difficult choice for black. Right, we give black a difficult choice between rook takes b4, right, just take back the pawn, or rook b7 to defend his weakness. Alright, so, and the hardest thing is after rook takes b4 or rook b7, and both of this move, both of them is unclear. So it's very hard to calculate in the game, in a real game, you know. I mean, it's very hard to calculate and make the right decision in a real game. So on rook takes b4, there follows rook f6, king g7. Alright, if of course if king takes g5, okay, we take the f7 pawn, you take our pawn, we just take here, and now there's this idea rook f5 and rook takes d5. Why? It's just better. And okay, so king g7, and okay, g6, we just follow our plan. Takes, rook takes b2, rook takes a6, and here we stop, and then we'll see this later. Okay, so right, rook b7 was played in the game actually. Alright, this is the second possibility. Alright, so rook b7 was played in the game. Rook f6 check, king takes g5. Alright, that was the plan. You know, defend the f pawn and take the g5 pawn. Now we go b5, great move. Right, rook takes b5 was played in the game. Of course, if takes, simply b4, and then white is just better. You know, there's this passer, and then the king is cut off. Black king is cut off. And we can simply play maybe rook f1 and then bring the king inside. Bring the king to help the a pass pawn. Okay, so rook takes, and okay, now we take on f7. Rook takes a5. Well, if rook takes b2 is just same as what we saw just now, right? And rook f5, rook takes d5 follow is what is just better. So takes, you have to take the a5 pawn. Alright. Okay, so black pieces is hoping for king takes e6 and rook b5 with an obvious draw. But of course we're not going to fall in it. Right, the idea is maybe he's defending his pawn and then attack his pawn, and then okay, maybe he defend everything, and when we move our rook, okay, you can just bring his king. It's a draw actually. So we play rook g7 check, king h6, and now the brilliant move rook b7. Alright, if black pieces found this move, he might choose rook takes b4 in this position instead of rook b7, but like I say, it's hard to calculate for human. So rook b7 was the winning move here. Alright, now the rook is hobbled on the a file because rook a4, there's b3 followed by king takes e6, king takes d5. So alright, so in the game king g5, king e6, king f4, king and b4, and we just take the d5 pawn, a5, b5, king e3, rook a7, rook takes d4, king c5, king b6. Now we take the a5 pawn and then cut off the king, and then okay, it's a winning position. We just push our passer, and then after rook a1, black resign because the idea is just move the king to the a file, there's no check, and then just promote. So in this position, black resign. So now it's clear that on move here, not here, here. Okay, so now it's clear what is good, what is bad. So rook b7 is actually a mistake. The best way is rook takes b4. After rook f6, king g7, g6, f g6, rook e6, rook takes b2 here, rook takes a6. Okay, and to look for salvation here, the most reliable defensive plan is to wait while the white king takes the d5 pawn, and only then advance the black passer. For example, rook a2, Alright, g5. Okay, g5 allow rook b6. So okay, so let's say rook a2 here, rook a7, king h6, rook a8, king g7, good move. Prevent, right, just did prevent some check, I guess. Oh, just wait. A6, rook a5, king e6, rook a2. Okay, so g5, there's king f5, and if rook a1, now there's king takes d5, g5, king d4, g4, d5, good move. Would have been serious mistake for black. So rook a2 is the right move. King takes d5, now g5. King e4, g4. Alright, so okay, in this position, if king c5, then g4, king b6, rook b2, king a7, g3, rook e8, g2, rook e1, and now there's king f7, d5, rook e2. Alright, so king e4 in this position, g4, king f4, takes. Okay, and now, okay, this after rook d6. Okay, so this is the typical and extremely important device in playing against a rook pawn. The white rook, which is tied down to defend the pawn, cannot move from a8, and the king has no protection from the horizontal check. So for example, king here, we just cut off the king, and then okay, check, and then okay, and so on. It's just a dead drop. Going back, so on moves. Wait a second. Here. Sorry, not here. 59. Alright, so here, instead of rook a2, let's say g5. Now rook b6. Rook a2, it's losing because of a6. And now you can see the king is cut off. Then we have some tricks like check and then push the pawn. So king f4 takes, king g5, good move. We get the opposition, king f5, king e5, and now we get check. Alright, now there's a tempo because we attack the rook. So here, check, and a7 wins. Rook b8 and a8 queen is unstoppable. So so rook f2 is the move to cut off the king, and after a6, g4, a7, there's rook a2. So king takes c5. Now king f7, good move. Alright, not g3 because of rook b3, g2, rook g3, and now a7. Alright, rook a2. Now there's rook takes g2, good move. So yeah, it's the same trick as we learned yesterday. So it's like the king and the pawn is on the same file, just check and save the pawn, and now it takes. And now okay, we cut off the king. Okay, then this is just a winning endgame because there's a passed pawn on default. The king is cut off. Alright, but the king f7 is the good move. And yeah, and it could be a draw. So that's all for today. So instead of rook takes b4, the good choice. Black chooses the worst move, and then okay, white win the game like this. Alright, so yeah, and then at the end they say there's no absolutely drawn position nor absolutely hopeless position. Alright, yeah, so basically this is what they say. So yeah, so basically the point is they say f6 is the first, is the move that could draw easily. Rook c6 was not the correct move, and a move here, yeah, black also make the wrong decision. So because of this careless, white take the win. Alright, in a draw position. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys learned something today. So we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.